Most of these children have no other memorial at this time other than this. And it is a public memorial. It is not something that's hidden away anymore in just the depths of their hearts. This blanket not only remembers them and represents who they are in their short life, but it represents the healing of families as well.
This is a concrete physical way for parents of aborted children, or any pregnancy loss for that matter, to acknowledge the value of that child and to acknowledge their relationship with that child. It's a very simple thing, a little square of cloth, but it's a very powerful witness, and it's a very powerful memorial for the parents. It also helps the rest of us come to grips with the reality of abortion and the pain of abortion, and maybe, hopefully, break some denial in the population that says this is not a problem.
The death of the mother, psychologically, we do not want after she suffers abortion.
At that time in my life, I morally and spiritually had no true knowledge of what I was doing. It wasn't until 10 years later that the denial broke for me. Through my experience of being on a retreat, seeing what the babies looked like for the first time in the womb, and realizing that my abortions were children. The reality of how I was deceived by the doctors, by the law, that said it was legal and okay to do it.
What I had done if that option hadn't been available?
You would have had that baby.
I would have had the baby.
Right.
It was there. It was easy.
Right. It's acceptable.
I didn't even think about trying to endure it.
The ultimate healing comes when she experiences the unconditional love of God for her. And the healing usually is she will always remember the abortion, she will always remember the pain of losing that child, but now she will look back at that painful experience through the lens of God's unconditional love. So that unconditional love is always linked to the pain of that abortion, and that's the healing.
I feel as though when I lost my soul, when I made that choice, Jesus was the one who brought it back to me. I feel like he gave me a new soul through my daughter and a new life through him.
I just named my baby about a month ago. Her name's Jessica. Jessica means God's grace. God's grace came to me, and it can come to you. Let Jesus love you. You don't earn it.
In the stillness of the soul, voices call to you and me. Can't you hear my heart beat? Light the candle that aflame. Every heartbeat will be called by
Trish, you're the promotional director. Tell us a little bit more about the plans and about the stumbling blocks to outreach.
Well, the plans are to do what the Lord has called us to do, and that's use a very proactive, pro-woman, pro-family tool that he's given us, such as this blanket, as a true living memorial to connect the act of abortion to an actual life. therein causing that healing that needs to begin. The preciousness of life, when a woman who's had an abortion sees this blanket, they're overwhelmed, as you could see from the video. They're overwhelmed with tears. They desperately need that healing. The stumbling blocks, I think, possibly to outreach are denominational lines, and also some of the feminist type of entities out there. So in an effort to reach out to those people, I've worked with many pro-life organizations that are evangelical in nature. Some of the videos I've done have been on 700 Club and TBN, but I'm Catholic and I work with the Catholic pro-life as well. So to get that out and to reach those people, Mike, in answer to that question, is that the Holy Family blanket of love itself, we want to hold up the family. That's why we call it the Holy Family. That's not just Catholic symbolism, and we know that every pastor out there who isn't Catholic would agree. Our Lord said, Father, that they may be as one, even as we are one. And it's us against the enemy as far as families are concerned and babies dying.
How do we get to the secular feminist who doesn't go to any church?
By showing them the post-abortive woman. We're preparing to do a 30-minute video where we have testimonies from women of all denominations, from all socioeconomic backgrounds, that shows them every type of abortion and the aftermath of what they're suffering. That's what breaks the heart of the staunchest feminist, is to see these women grappling with their very sanities, their life, their heart, their families, the functioning things, issues. So that's how we reach those people.
So this is truly a pro-woman movement,
yes,
irrespective of anything else. And it's, ladies, it's going to take a tremendous amount of money,
yes,
financial support,
yes,
prayer support,
yes,
help.
yes.
And we want to give a phone number at this time, and that number, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is 301-447-1811. Trish, tell us about the financial needs and plans.
Exactly. The financial side of this is that with this blanket, we must pay people who actually sew the blanket. We must pay administrative costs. Mary Lynn, our director, goes out and speaks to churches. She speaks to women's groups. She speaks to people from every denomination and gets them involved in this blanket, which is truly a living memorial. The other expenses, of course, are airtime. By getting this post-abortive message out there, denying the personhood of this child is what's kept us from that. So we show the personhood. So the funding that we need is corporately. It's interactively. We hold all sorts of healing retreats for post-abortive women where they can actually name that child. There's nothing more precious than naming your child. It shows that child is truly alive. So we want to give women new life. We need your help financially to reach out to those women. We know there's somebody out there who the Lord has spoken to, who's lost someone to abortion, who has a daughter who's grappling with this, and they're very financially able. We want to see the healing, and this is the first way that we know of that truly is interactive. We worked with Project Rachel. We work with all denominational groups that help women through retreats and outreaches. So we need the funds in order to mobilize this effort so that every state will have a blanket. Every place across the United States will have truly a living memorial where that child finally has a physical name and a place. The women, when they touch this blanket, it moves them to tears. It brings that child alive. It's concrete. And we need you to not just erect a stone to unborn children, because those children aren't stone. They're living, they're breathing, they're spiritual, they're alive, and they're in heaven. And this blanket demonstrates that. And we believe that's going to move people to that financial support. This cannot go forward without it, truly.